Cool. All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to tonight, where we are doing one of our regular Q&A sessions. This evening, we are interviewing Dylan Peraic-Cullen, who's obviously our first choice goalkeeper currently for the Mariners. Just to quickly introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, my name's Gareth. Relatively new to the board, just kind of subbing in for Mark at the moment. And yeah, I'll make a start. So, Dylan, first question for you. Who would you say influenced your view of
Yep.
football or your desire to be a footballer when you were growing up?
Um, I wouldn't say anyone in particular, but if I had to say one, probably my dad. He was the one that took me to most of my games, my trainings. It was kind of split 50-50. My mum usually took my brother, and dad usually took me. And I wouldn't say there was one person that was like, in my ear, like this is what you want to do. I loved it. And if I had to pick one person that influenced it, it would be him. He was always there. He was at all my games. He used to love taking the photos as well. And now that I'm away, he's gotten into the A League more than I have. Honestly, he watches every single game. It's crazy.
Was your dad ever a goalkeeper, like when he used to play or anything like that? Or
Oh, he claims to be. I don't know if I believe him, but
nice. So who taught you how to dive and how did that go?
I remember. Well, the first thing that kickstarted me being a goalkeeper, so at my childhood club it was Warden Valley, and they had like a 1 or 2 week clinic. It was like a goalkeeper clinic, and my dad just put us in, and why not? Like it was after a session, why not
Mm,
try it out? And it was great fun. You're a kid, you're jumping about. It's unreal, and
yeah.
it's still the same now. But that was it, and then just learnt as I went. And there was a couple of significant figures. There was one goalkeeper coach I had in Canberra. His name was Francois. He was actually just one of my friend's dads, and he used to be a goalkeeper, and he helped me a lot along the way.
Yeah. So have you always played in goal throughout your playing career?
I'd say up until I was about maybe like 12. Before that, I used to absolutely hate goalie, as everyone does when they're young. But then I
Yeah.
got to 10, and like I said, I started going in goals a little bit. Then it was 50-50 for a bit. Then eventually, I got stuck there, and it's been the same ever since.
You're obviously quite tall. Were you tall, like compared to your like, friends in school or anything like that? And was that kind of why they sort of stuck you in goal?
I'm not sure that's completely to do with it, but it was definitely a part. Like I've always been pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you obviously joined the Mariners Academy last season. So how was life? How was it with life in Canberra? Sorry, how was after life in Canberra moving to the coast? And do you consider yourself a coastie now?
Oof. Yeah, my mum's asked me this question before. Like, do you consider the coast home? And to be fair, I do. I absolutely love it up here. It took me maybe, a good maybe 6 months to properly appreciate it. But especially like I was living
Mm.
around like Long Jetty entrance, unreal. Right next to the beach, especially coming from Canberra, I didn't have that. Weather unreal, all my mates in the one area. So yeah, I reckon I'd consider myself a coastie, or at least getting there.
Do you do you get to go back to Canberra very often?
So last year when I was playing NPL, I tried to go back as much as possible. Like after games in Sydney, I'd try and send it back, and like sometimes pushing it as well. But these days, especially with the schedule, it's a bit hard. But every 2 days off I get, you'll often find me flogging it down the freeway back to Canberra.
Yeah. Is that usually when you have dirty washing or something like that? Just try and get like your family to do your washing, or is it?
Nah, nah. My mum always offer, but so I can't say no.
No, fair enough. So do you have any game day superstitions at all?
Game day superstitions. Um, I've developed one. It's not so much a game day one. It's a pre-game. So the day before a game, always make sure. Well, other than away days when I don't have the option to, home games always eat two steaks night before the game, and
Wow,
that's
too.
that's yeah.
Is there what is that? That's just for energy, is it? Like,
I love a steak, and I started doing it. I played well once after it, and then I just kept it going. So
how do you take your steak?
medium rare.
Medium rare, nice.
Medium
And
rare.
you cook it yourself?
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Do you have a special way that you cook it? I know some people do it in the oven, some people do it on the pan.
Nah, so I bought myself a stainless steel pan not too long ago,
Nice.
and I get Scotch fillet, heat the pan up as much as possible, sear it, get a good crust, and then yeah, just wait till it's medium rare. Perfect.
Mate, there you go. I think a future career here. This is it. Create a
Oh,
YouTube
100,
video
100%,
of how to cook a
100%.
steak.
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment at our stadium?
At the stadium, ooh,
Yeah.
um, I think it'd be a tie. There was obviously the grand final win. I was there, and as I wasn't involved too much, obviously playing in that, but I was
Mm.
still involved in the squad, and seeing that win after that season was incredible. And next favorite moment would probably be that home win against Sydney FC. Boys, it was a good result. Tough conditions, and everyone was just buzzing after the game. So it was a great feeling.
Would you all say that that was your favorite moment as a Mariner, or do you think, or is there anything else that kind of stands out that's not necessarily at our stadium?
I think those two. I think those two really
Yeah.
take the cake. Yeah,
Um, who would you say is the kind of worst opponent you faced? I guess either a team or individual player.
worst opponent. I will say probably can't think of individual players, but in those Champions League games, the Asian Champions League games, some of those players they're unbelievable. Like they get a shot edge of the box. There's a very good chance they're absolutely just slotting it in the bottom corner. Whereas like
Yeah.
A League, maybe 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 times I'll do that, but consistently, they're just putting it in the corners every single time. And those
Yeah.
players are very good.
Yeah, you can sort of really notice the sort of just like the quickness of just everything they do is
100%.
it's just like an extra level, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's crazy.
so you obviously mentioned the grand final win last season. So I guess with what we managed to achieve last season, and I guess the extra sort of pressure and expectations, what are your expectations for the team this season?
Um, I feel like it's better to probably not go into the season with the expectations. Obviously, you can have your goals. You want to win. You want to do this, but you can't expect these things. You gotta take it as it goes. And I feel like a goal for us, especially at the moment, is a very achievable goal as well. Make top six, because then from that top six, anything can happen. Obviously we can aim higher, top four, top two, maybe. But as that top six, I think that's our priority. Get there in finals, and world's your oyster from there.
Yeah. Um, it would be just the question we've got is just for you to just give us just to tell us about your experiences with the Australian under 20 squad
Yep.
and competing in the under 19 boys competition as well, our championship
Yep.
as well.
Okay. Well, how long ago? That was maybe August, September, or
Mm.
maybe actually July. I think I was away on my birthday, so yeah, it was July. Um, it was pretty good. It was cool to get to travel with the national team. I didn't think I had the best tournament overall. Obviously, I made one massive mistake. Had a blunder in the semi final, I think it was, but happens. Um, but it's always good getting to go away with a group of boys. Like I don't think I knew anyone in that team going away, but I made some good friends there. Everyone's there for the same purpose. It's a nice feeling, and obviously representing your country. There's not many things better than that.
Yeah. You mentioned obviously making a blunder. I know, there's always I guess like the narrative that if a goalkeeper makes a mistake, everybody kind of notices it more because it usually leads to a goal. When I guess
Yeah.
scenarios like that happened, how would you usually how do you find bouncing back? Like, is it something that sticks with you for a bit, or are you quite good at just kind of shaking it off and just focusing on the next game or the next shot or whatever it might be?
Yeah. I like to think I'm actually pretty good at just forgetting about it. Like it's a hard thing to do, and sometimes it will rattle you, but and sometimes maybe it takes a minute or two, but every time you just gotta try your best to forget about it. Otherwise, you're gonna make 5 more of those in the game, and
Yeah,
no one wants that to happen.
that's it, right. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Like you're not human
Exactly,
if you don't make a mistake. So
exactly. Can't do anything about it. So
yeah. What's your relationship like between yourself and like Adam Pavlicic and Jack Washorski? Like, do you all support each other, or is it like competitive? Like, how does that go?
it's a very good balance. They're both great blokes, and we all get along, hang out outside of football. And people say that's often weird, like the GK union. Like, how can everyone be such good mates? You're all competing for the same spot, but it's a special thing usually. And we get along well. We push each other. We're all quality goalkeepers, and each one of us knows that. And then you have Vuka there tying it all together. It's really a great group.
as part of the goalkeeper union, do you ever like cook each other steaks and see who does the best steak?
We haven't done that. We've had a barbie together, not all together, like exclusively a GK Union barbie, but we have had a barbie. Pav loves a steak.
Oh, nice. Um, so I guess we've had a good question here, which I think. So how does a young goalkeeper get themselves noticed? Is there anything that you would recommend they can do to help them stand out?
As in young, you mean
Uh,
like academy goalkeepers,
let's say I guess like a teenage goalkeeper maybe.
teenage goalkeeper. I still the main thing I know these days they put such a focus on distribution, being good with your feet, being clean. But honestly, no matter how you do it, if you're keeping the ball out of the net, someone's going to notice it. You're keeping clean sheets, you're making good saves. That's the main thing as a goalkeeper. Obviously, being good with your feet, being like everything else that comes with that package. But you're keeping the ball out of the net, you're doing your job, and that's what people want you for.
Yeah. Do you I guess on that, when you sort of think about your training regime, how much is it spent, I guess, doing the kind of hand shot stopping stuff versus trying to, you know, play with your feet? Is there do you kind of could you put a percentage on that?
Maybe 60-40 in terms of shot stopping in hands.
Yeah.
Maybe 70-30. Honestly, it depends on what we're working on. So potentially, if I came in tomorrow and like after the session, I'd say, okay, I want to work some more on my distribution. We do a bit more of that. But I'd say 60-40. It's a good balance because, like I said, in this day's game, you need both.
Yeah. So just a couple of questions now, just on your future. What would you say are your future plans after your playing career? Like, do you think about coaching or?
I don't know if I could do coaching. Maybe like in the future, way down the line, maybe a son's team or a kid's team or something. But I don't think I'd coach. Yeah, maybe probably not for me.
Do you think about it at all, like post playing career? Is it just for now focusing on just being a player?
I haven't really thought about it to be honest. Yeah, it's probably something I should get on to potentially, but I'm not really too worried about that at the moment.
Yeah, got years to worry. You've got years until then.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm almost 40 and I still don't know what I'm doing in my future, so don't worry
yeah.
about it. Um, so another question is on your future. Do you intend to extend your stay at the Mariners for next season?
Well, I did sign a 2.5 year contract, so as it stands, I'll be here next year. Obviously, the plan after Mariners is go on to bigger and better things, potentially overseas. But as I said, it's a 2.5 year contract, so as it stands, I'll be here next year.
Perfect. So just got some other questions quickly here, but I just see there's any. Um, what would you say is your favorite karaoke song? If you don't do karaoke, what's your favorite music genre to listen to?
Yeah, I can't do karaoke. I will say so. I've had two initiation songs for the national teams, and I've done "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi both times.
Yeah.
So if there is one, it's that. And favorite genre of music. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Aussie rock, bit of Dragon, bit of Cold Chisel. So that's yeah. At the moment, I'll say that.
Do you hit the key change on Living on a Prayer?
I try. I try my best, but I'm not the one to judge on that. It's the people that had to listen to it.
To be honest, I don't even think John Bon Jovi can hit that key
Yeah.
change anymore, so I wouldn't worry about it. So, um, do you have a favorite Premier League side at all?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah, a lot of people say that I
Yeah.
find in Australia. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
who's your favorite or greatest player of all time?
I'm going to be honest. I never really had a favorite player growing up. Obviously, as a kid, you either like Messi or Ronaldo. I was a Ronaldo fan myself. But in terms of maybe keepers, I always liked Casillas actually, because Real Madrid were big at that time when I was kind of growing up, and he was a good goalkeeper.
And then, cool. And then next question. If you weren't a footballer, what do you think you would be doing for a living?
Ooh, definitely not an office job. I'll tell you that much. I honestly could not do that. Potentially something hands on. Potentially, I don't mind the idea of teaching. High school teacher. I loved a lot of my high school teachers. Mum's also a teacher, so yeah, doing that. Maybe science teacher, PE teacher would wouldn't mind doing that.
Nice. And then just last question from just questions that we initially had, but I know that there's been some in the chat. But if you wouldn't mind just telling us about your youth career for with Gungahlin United.
Yep. I started my career at Woden Valley when I was a kid. You know, peewees, under eights, under nines. Dad was just coaching me there, and then I went on to Gungahlin with a couple mates, and it was like a better team. You know, had a good team. And then I actually played in Sydney for 2 years. I played for Sydney Olympic for 2 years. Then came back to Gungahlin for a year.
Mhm.
Played there. I only played maybe 2 games of first grade that year. And after my first one, that was when I they had that game. Central Coast had that game in Canberra against the Capital All Stars that they put together. I played maybe 30 minutes in that, and then obviously came here from there. But Gungahlin, when I was there, it was a good club. They liked me. They supported me. Same as all the clubs. I feel like I've been very lucky. Woden Valley, same. They liked me. They supported me. Sydney Olympic liked me, supported me. So I reckon I've had it, pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's great. And then I think the last question I've got here is, do you follow the NFL? And if so, who do you follow?
I don't, although I tried to for a period of time, and that was at that period of time. That was when Odell Beckham Jr. He did that unbelievable one-handed catch.
Hmm.
So I found myself being a Giants fan for a small period of time, but then I realized that not that great, so kind of backed off.
If you like New York uh, wide receivers, Garrett Wilson for the Jets did another good one-handed catch this year, which might
It
be
is.
worth a Google. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I might have to check that out then.
yeah. Cool. That's all the questions I've got. Colin, I don't know if there's anything else that we want to go through.
Yeah, there's some coming through the chat. I'm actually going to start with one, like the latest one that come in. And the question is, in the Mariners Keepers Union, who's got the biggest hands? And I'm going to add to that, include Danny Vukovic in it.
Include Booker? Oh, well, then it's Booker. Clear. Easy.
Vuko.
Easy.
And if it, out, what about between you three guys?
Ooh. I honestly couldn't tell you. It's all pretty close, though. I don't think anyone's like an outlier or anything, but Booker, if you're including him, clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge.
How do you rate him as a coach? And how's your relationship with him?
Oh, he's great. From the moment I got to the Mariners, obviously, like when I was first trialing, it was always supporting me, and then obviously playing as well. It was great. Obviously, you saw how good he was that season, and then coming into this role as a coach, obviously someone with a wealth of experience, and on top of that, just being a great bloke. It just training's great, his coaching's great. Yeah, can't complain at all.
Yeah, we kind of missed. My wife and I used to bump into him at Woolworths shopping at
Oh, yeah.
Arrow over the weekend, and
Yeah.
since he's coaching, we haven't seen him. So
Oh,
he'd always stop us and have a chat. So
yeah, no, that's great. Top
yeah,
bloke.
no,
Absolute top bloke.
really, really good. There are a couple more. So when you're traveling,
Yep.
best and worst roommates.
Best and worst roommates. I haven't had too many to be fair. I probably can't think of the worst one, but who was best? Me and Pav were on the last away trip in Brisbane. It was, and that was pretty fun. We had a good time. So if for best, I'll say Pav. For worst, I really can't give you an answer.
Do they normally switch you around? How does it
Usually,
work? Does someone in the coaching squad allocate the rooms, or you figure that out for
I think
yourself?
it's the team manager that puts me in. I'm not sure what last year. I remember when it was like set in stone, like the roomies. But this year has been quite a bit of change. So I've had a couple. So I'm really not sure what goes into that process.
Okay. The biggest joker of the team, in your opinion?
No, I'd give it to Alo. Easy.
Hello.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more. So we all know about the fine system. Have you been fined this
Yeah.
season? What for?
Have I been fined? Potentially a late fine or two.
Okay.
Maybe to gym, maybe to nothing crazy, no. I try to keep my money.
And who has the most fines?
Where's the most? Oh, well, we we have a system in place where you can flip a coin for it, and I'm trying to think. I think maybe it was Lucas Moragas got stitched up with that. He flipped it maybe one or two too many times, and had quite a big fine from that. That's what comes to mind.
Okay, well, that's it from the chat room.
Perfect.
So I'll leave it over to you, Gareth, to sign off.
Cool. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, just want to thank you again, Dylan, for your time today.
No, thanks for having me.
And being a good sport and stuff. I really appreciate it. And yeah, obviously, best of luck for the season, and look forward to more wins.
That's it. Hopefully, we can get them for you.
Yeah. Cool. All right, mate. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Dylan.
Cheers. Out.